Hi everybody, welcome to another video at Abraham's Table Farm. Today we are harvesting our garlic. As you can see behind me, there's a bunch of people working in these rows. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds of garlic that are 100 feet long, and they are planted in the fall and grow very slowly through the winter, just barely germinating, and then in the spring they shoot up. We've had the plants set up their flowers, which is the scape, which we've harvested and you've probably eaten. And now they are done sizing up their bulbs, and we're pulling them out of the ground. So it's a big-ish job that we do as a group, and the first stage is to pull them out of the ground, stack them into piles like they're doing here, let them dry off a little bit in the sun just to kind of dry out the dirt that is stuck to the roots. Then we will take them into the wash stand and we'll trim them a little bit just to get some of the root mass off. We'll bundle them into tens, we'll hang them up to dry. It's important to get the outer papers very, very dry, because that becomes the barrier for mold and other organisms for infiltrating the bulbs. Once they are dried in that initial curing stage, then we will put them into a cooler storage place. So right now everyone's just pulling them out, and then we're bundling them and carrying them back to the wash stand, and I'll go show you what we are doing there next. Okay, now here we are in the wash stand, and a bunch of the garlic has been carried and put on these trays, and we've got another team of people here trimming off the ends. You can see Daniel here has bird's beak pliers, clippers, snippers, whatever you want to call them, and he's trimming off all of the root mass. The root holds a lot of soil and dirt next to the bulb, which is not good for curing. So trimming those off just gets them a little bit cleaner. We don't like to use water because the added moisture can cause mold problems and stuff inside the bulb and in the papers. So instead we just let them dry, and then we want to be able to crumble off the dirt once it's dry. And for the final cleaning, we'll just strip one of the layers of paper off and reveal the clean white paper underneath. So that all has to happen after everything is dry and the moisture has come out, so that the dirt kind of easily crumbles right off. But taking off the roots is helpful for that drying process, so there's not as much moisture right there next to the bulb. We do like to leave the tops on. Some of the life that's still up in the leaves and the top can get down into the bulb. That's where all the energy is going. Once we take the flower off of the bulb in the scaping flowering stage, the plant immediately starts moving to its secondary reproductive function, which is sizing up the bulb so that the bulb, which has several cloves in it, can split and each one can become a new plant. So a garlic plant is somewhat unique in that it has two possible ways of reproducing: either putting up a flower and setting seed, which can each become a new plant, or developing its bulb and splitting its bulb into many different plants. So once we've removed the flower, the plant moves to the other reproductive function, starts putting all of its energy down into its bulb. And so we're letting that energy go down into the bulb, and then we'll take off the tops once they're completely dried down and there's no green left. And then the bulbs will have all the energy possible, and we can put them into our permanent winter storage facility. One of the things we love about jobs like this on the farm is that they are compatible for all ages. We enjoy working with kids as well, and being able to work without big equipment and machinery. Simple processes that are mostly done at a human scale with human scale technology allows us to work as a group with kids and adults and older people all together, which is fun for building relationships, and we're trying to live in a more human way. So maximizing our human involvement is part of what we strive for when we design our work systems and our workflows and the technologies that we choose to use to produce all this food. Everything we do here is human-centric. You know, even the crops we're producing are for the human. Nutrition is our highest goal. So human flourishing is what we're after, not only in the products that we produce, but in the ways that we produce them as well. So those are the first two steps of this process, and when we move to the next step, I'll show you that too. Okay, we're moving to the next phase of the garlic. I'm here at our greenhouse, and we've taken this silage tarp, which we often use to hold space in the garden. We'll put it over empty garden beds to keep the weeds from germinating and just kind of hold that space until we can come back to it. We've taken one of those tarps and draped it over that end of the greenhouse to entirely block the sunlight from coming in. The white is out so that it won't heat up too much, and I can look inside the greenhouse now and see what it looks like. A few little seedlings that'll go out in the next week are at this end, but down at this end, it's pretty dark in there. You can see no direct sunlight on the garlic, and we're going to be hanging everything up in the rafters here, and there will just be a ton of garlic hanging in this rafter. It'll get fairly warm up here in the peak, but we've got exhaust fans and vents in the peaks of this, and we can keep airflow in the peak moving along to dry those out. They'll be in there for a couple weeks, out of the sun, airflow constant, and once they're dried down, once those stems, which are green now, once those stems dry down and seal up and all the outside is dry, we'll be able to take them and put them into the more permanent storage. The crew is still working. There's only a little bit of it hung right now, but most of the crew is still in here trimming all the garlic and getting it ready to move over there for the curing process. So that's what we got so far. Okay, all of the garlic is in here hung. You can see it behind me, hanging from the rafters in bundles of 10. I don't know exactly how many bundles there are here, but there's a lot. And it'll be sitting in here for a couple weeks while it cures, and then we will move it into either the basement or the walk-in cooler for the rest of the winter and into next spring. And hopefully this is enough garlic to last us that long. The past couple of years it has lasted almost until the new garlic has come in, and we will at some point have to separate out the biggest, best heads of garlic and cloves to be our seeds, that we can continue to improve the seed stock that we're using, and we will hold back those heads for planting in November. Once the garden is shutting down, that's when we're actually putting the garlic in to be our next year's crop. So you got to save your seed. It's important general principle not to eat the seed. The seed, it could be used as food, but if you do, you won't have food down the road in the future. So we'll be setting aside our seed stock and then planting it later this fall. But this is curing. We'll be able to be selling fresh garlic, which is uncured, but just as good, just as delicious. And then slowly this will cure and we'll have it available in the store for a long time yet. But thanks for watching. Please get into the store and place your orders. We've got a lot of vegetables coming in now. Right now, everything else on the garden and the farm is doing pretty well. We're having some trouble getting our tomatoes to ripen as fast as we'd like to, so we've got to work on that. But otherwise, we've got almost everything in the store right now, and you can place some big, beautiful orders for all kinds of things. And place your orders for beef. We've got half, whole, and quarter cows getting ready to go into butcher in this fall, and so it's time to be placing your bulk meat orders, including your big chicken orders and those beef orders. You can do that on the store or send us an email and we can get it all set up for you. But otherwise, we're just slogging into the second half of the year. The second half of the year involves big storage crop harvests like this. We stopped doing all of our seed starting, so there will be no more seed starting here in the greenhouse, and no more starts, but a bunch of ends and finishes and harvests starting. And this is also the entering the season of courage. We really have to dig deeper. We're tired. There's less of that enthusiasm at the beginning. We're just slogging away, trying to stay faithful, pushing into our tiredness, pushing into the end of the season to finish well. So that's what this second half of the year is all about. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.